Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, April 21st, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now, seeing a bit of strength here. Another day here of uptrending price action ever since the first trading day of the week here, taking out the previous week's low, and every single day has been higher. Heading into the previous week's high, which it has now reached. So it's sitting just above the previous week's high at the moment, which is 44.91s. Again, if there is a failure at the previous week's high, it opens up a return back into the range, likely back toward the previous week's midpoint. Again, that's 44.33. Price was just at that level yesterday and rallied off of that point to get to the high. So again, we could be looking at that right now. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we may not go too far of anywhere here heading into Fed Chair Powell speaking later on today, 10 a.m. Central, and again at 12 p.m. Central. So again, that could trigger some movement based on headline risk out of that. So again, we're going to continue to watch the previous week's high here. That's going to be important. The ES pushing through at the moment. Any failure there could open up a rotation back to 4,400. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. Now, the NQ has been among the weakest. Failed new high, played out yesterday back to the midpoint, whereas the ES, the YM, RTY, all of those remain bullish. But if you look at this one in a 60-minute time frame, you see a bit of a rounded bottom developing here. That could play out very bullishly if this thing can get through 14.3. Those are the highs right there, 14.3. Those have been significant highs, but again, rounded bottom price action over the last week plus. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days running and a developing 8th day. So if we use our indicator down here to reflect 8 days, we'll get a reading here that mentions 1,335 points is the likely forecast for the next big move. Could be about 1,300 points of movement. So again, if we get a breakout from this range, say it's through 14.3, that could open up a plus 1,000 to 15.3. If there's a failure up here, say it comes up here and hits 14.5 and starts to turn down, then 14.5 can take you down to 13.5 minus, again, another 300 here, and you're talking 13.2 as a downside target in that scenario. So again, building energy of about 1,300 points right now. No discernible breakout just yet. But again, once price does get a move out of this range, it could be significant. At the moment, price is pushing through the previous session's midpoint. We could see a return back to 14.3 for a key test here, but still in the range until proven otherwise. Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil over here continuing to show a bit of weakness ever since breaking through the 105 level. So it broke back below the 105 level, and now we've had 2 days here of holding, so kind of a rest after battle type of candlestick pattern there. Clearly the level of the month is the previous month's close. That's the level that has been in play every single day, either as a high, as a low, or as a midpoint right here. All those levels very, very nice, and we're right at it again. So if that level gives way, we could easily drop back down. 96, 95 could be ahead. If price is able to push back above 105s, then it opens up a move back toward 110. But at the moment, again, coming off of these highs here, dropping 2 narrow days here, sitting just on the previous month's close, that could open up another continuation to the downside ahead. So watching to see how this narrow range shakes out. Taking a look at Bitcoin, this one's up 3.8% right now. One of the things we mentioned on this day was that was a pretty good rejection day. Perhaps not of the caliber of some of the others we've seen, but good enough to get prices going back up. These were significant turnaround days. This one was a good one. It was a lower low failure. It coincided with the previous week's low. and it snapped back. Bullish divergence, good continuation, and here we are, 42.8 right now, and continuing higher. We mentioned that this one, even from this low, could take us right back up to 46K even, yet again. So big time move here today. Want to see if it can hold those gains. A failure to hold those gains would be suspicious here. If we take a look here at the ETH futures, very similar rejection on the low. That also occurred at the previous month's midpoint. This one now is starting to look a little bit more of a rounded bottom behavior than it had before. Before it was more triangular in shape, and this thing got that breakout. Now in this pullback, it's barely holding the mid. Is that enough? Is that enough to get this thing going, and maybe we can retest 3,600 ahead? That would be a significant move from current levels. We're at 3168 right now. We have a narrow range that has developed here, and we're following a good bullish rejection. That could lead price to 3,300 in the near term, with a shot to see a bit higher here. Again, kind of like these other markets, if we try higher right now but fail, we're dropped back into the ranges, and that could even lead to a bit more downside ahead. So still the potential for failure of range expansion at the previous session's highs up here. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.